Yay, the Squad Girls are back. Hello, I'm Julie. Thanks for joining me today for this Plan With Me video where I'm going to be making 4 spreads in my Skinny Mini Happy Planner. The big news is, of course, that the OG Squad Girls are back finally. So I'm celebrating by making one of the spreads a Squad Girl spread. You can tell I'm a Squad Girls fan because I have the OG Squad Girl Skinny Mini Happy Planner cover from many years back. And I've been repeatedly asking Happy Planner to bring the Squad Girls back, and finally now we have Lauren back in charge. They are making a return. I'll be making 4 full spreads. So for the Squad Girls one, I'll be using this old Squad Life sticker book, which is no longer available, but don't worry, new Squad Girl sticker books are coming with a winter release. More about that later. I'll also be using Fall Vibes from Planything, this Coffee Enjoyable sticker book from Doodle Diarys, and Seasonally Neutral from Love Posh. If you know me, you'll know that fall is probably my least favourite season, and one of the reasons is that I usually like to change things up from week to week in my planner, but I do find that I tend to have all my fall planner spreads that orangey brown colour, and I don't think this year will be any different. I'm hoping I'll like these spreads, and at the end of the video I'll flick through them all and you can tell me which is your favourite. But in honour of the Squad Girls return, let's start with a Squad Girls spread. It was probably this Squad Girls sticker book that actually got me into decorative planning in the first place. I fell in love with it when I saw it in a YouTube video, and that was when I first started out on my decorative planning journey. I think I will white out the days for this one so that I'm free to place the decorative stickers wherever I want. Apologies if you can hear fireworks, but it's that time of year. And even though it's raining outside, people are obviously keen to be letting them off for fireworks night, even though it's not actually fireworks night yet. And of course, we've also got the dogs barking because it upsets them. I was going to try to film earlier in the day, but of course, time got away with me and it didn't happen. I will give you my usual life update in this video if you like to hear that. But first I thought I should talk a little bit about the Squad Girls, particularly for those of you who maybe don't understand the obsession with the Squad Girl stickers. But in that heyday of Happy Planner, they were one of the most popular items, and the Squad Girl planners were always seasonal and really pretty. I've always loved making little scenes in my planner, so they are perfect for that. I'm going to try and make sure I leave some room for function in this planner spread. But it's not going to necessarily be easy because these stickers are a little bit large for the Skinny Mini, but I always say you can make most stickers work in this tiny layout. And the good news is you only need a few decorative stickers to make a really pretty spread. In order to make sure I have some room to write on both days, what I tend to do is place the sticker in between the days rather than on the day, because then there's no room to write. So this is rather big and I don't want to chop the dog off. If I do this, I might have just chopped the little dog's nose off. But I have room to write here and here. So yes, the OG Squad Girls are back, and I tried not to get too excited when I heard the first announcement because Squad Girls have made a return before, but they weren't the OG Squad Girls. They were revamped Squad Girls, and the stickers were much larger than the originals, so a little harder to make seams with in your planner. And the other thing I really liked about the original Squad Girls was they had 2 pages of each design, and they were reversed, so I think they will be really good for using for Dutch doors. So that's something I'm going to have a go with, hopefully. So sorry for that dog. Now, there was a sneak on Instagram and I zoomed in to take a good look, and I was a little bit disappointed because I could see that a lot of the images were exactly the same as the OG Squad Girls, which obviously for people who haven't been able to pick up Squad Girls in the past isn't a problem. But I was hoping for new seasonal Squad Girl designs. I'm sure there were lots of different ideas they could come up with. I seem to be finding it hard to get my stickers down straight, as usual. But the sticker book that I saw isn't going to be coming out till the winter release, which is usually straight after the Cyber Week sales, so beginning of December. But I'm pretty sure I saw The Girl on the Swing, which was from the later Squad Girl release. But we'll have to see. So cute. Let's add some of these swirling leaves. We'll add a couple of flags, as I don't have boxes to write in on these days. And then if I put these little mushrooms down to indicate the ground, because I don't think having a strip across will look very good. So these will achieve the same effect. And I could use that one that I'm going to cut off here. No wasting any of these stickers, seeing as these books aren't available anymore. I'm not sure what it is about them, but they just make me happy looking at them. So the first item that is releasing is a holiday planner. I was a little bit disappointed to hear that's what it was going to be, but even if it had been a planner, I wouldn't have really wanted it because I've got my planners sorted for next year. I haven't seen what it actually looks like inside, so I don't know if it's something much different from the holiday planners they've released before, but I already have a Christmas holiday planner, so I can't really see myself getting it because I don't think I would use it. I'm trying not to buy things that I won't use, even if they are super cute. But I haven't said what's going to be in the winter release, although it looked like a mini sized something, notebook maybe, and definitely a sticker book. Hopefully not just one, hopefully more than one, but we'll have to see. I think this spread is nearly done. At the end of the video I'll try to show some of the many Squad Girl spreads that I've made over the years, or just a few of them, so that you can see and maybe get excited about the release of new Squad Girl stickers. All I need to do now is add the days of the week and the numbers, and you'll see at the end of the video how that looks when they're added. On to spread number 2. This one is going to be a Planything spread, and I'll be using Full Vibes, which is still available in Amber's shop, And if you're from America and haven't heard the news, Amber has started shipping to America again, but of course there are increased costs with the tariffs. I've decided to go with the green set in this book just to make a change from all the browns that I'm going to have this month. I've got some Planything washi that I think matches really well, and I'm going to white out the days again on this one. So yes, if you want to order from Planything and you're in the US, you can now. I understand the frustration because shipping costs can be high. For me here in the UK, I have to pay quite a lot to get things shipped from America, but I appreciate the shops that do offer that opportunity. So it's up to me to decide if I want to take advantage of it or not. You can use my code Julie10 if you do want to save on your Planything purchases. I thought I'd put this pretty washi along the bottom and the top of the spread. And I'm thinking, because I'm not going to have much room for writing, I may just use bullet points rather than boxes in this spread. And because I like balance and this piece hasn't got any of these little yellow pieces on, what I'm going to do is put this one at the top of the spread. Then I can use the next piece, which has the yellow bits on, at the bottom. I'll put that on very straight, and we'll have to trim some of that off. It's much easier to put it on the bottom where you can see the edge. Do you struggle to get things down straight in your planner? It's always an issue for me, but particularly when I'm filming. So as we haven't got this yellow at the top, I will make sure I don't have the yellow showing on this side. Hopefully I've put it about the same height on both sides. Trim it down a bit. So I've had not the greatest October. Had a few things happen that I'm going to tell you about. I also really like this washi. I think it's a perfect match, and I'm not sure whether to add it to the bottom and top or have it across. Maybe what I'll do is my usual alternating trick. Now I have a strip here. Line and have a strip here. I can either do the same on the other side, or I can put the washi just along the middle line like that. I think I will do that because it will allow me to use some larger stickers in these spaces. I may well end up covering the washi. That's what I find when you put the washi down first. You don't really know if you're going to end up putting stickers over the top of it or not, which is why I sometimes leave it to the end. These are really pretty stickers. And when I'm choosing stickers to use, I tend to put the larger stickers at the bottom and the smaller stickers at the top, although these are fairly similar sizes. I feel a little bit out of practice with filming videos because I've not been well, so I haven't been able to film for quite a while. I went away in October, and one of the perils of going away means that you're mixing with all the germs. I was travelling on the train, so I probably picked something up there. This is going to be such a nice easy spread. Because all I'm really doing is alternating these stickers. And because I don't want this one directly opposite that one, what I might do is cut some of the washi so that I can have it here. So yes, I went to visit a friend in October. I don't get away that often. And I had the usual fun and games that you do when travelling. It's never uneventful. As I was only going for a few days, I left my packing to the last minute, although to be honest, even if I was going away for longer, I would leave my packing to the last minute because I'm a last minute sort of person. The first thing to go wrong was I had decided what I was going to wear on the train journey, and when I put it on, the zip broke. I can't remember the last time I've had a zip stop working. I have put on a little bit of weight recently, so maybe that's to blame, but I was like, great, I've now got to think of a different outfit to wear. I ended up just throwing on some leggings, which actually was a better idea because I do struggle with travelling, sometimes feel a bit travel sick. So although you may not look the nicest in leggings, they are definitely comfortable to wear, and that's what matters. The second thing that happened was, as I was changing into my leggings, I noticed the hugest spider above my wardrobe in a place that I couldn't really get to it. And I find this doubly funny because I'd just posted to somebody on Instagram to tell them that I'd got over my fear of spiders, and that now I could actually, instead of splatting them, catch them and put them out in the garden. But this spider was big and it was in my bedroom, which I really didn't like. But I couldn't do anything about it, otherwise I would miss my train. So I finished getting dressed in another bedroom and decided I would have to deal with that when I got back. I'm wondering about putting a quote here. I've just spent about 20 minutes looking for a quote to fit in this small space here. One of the jobs I really promise I am going to do for next year is organise my quotes, particularly my seasonal quotes. But I couldn't find anything fall related that would go particularly with these images, so I ended up looking at Planything's black boxes and quotes and found this: give yourself some credit for how far you've come. It's going to be a bit tricky to squeeze it in with the holes there, so I might just put it down. It will just fit. And of course it's not straight. Ever so slightly out. And I've ripped the paper. But I've managed to straighten it, I think. Actually, I think the writing is sloped, so it is straight because I've used the lines, but the writing isn't straight. So never mind. Finish off with the last couple of bullet points. And apart from the days and dates, that one's finished and looks really pretty. For the next one, I'm using stickers from Doodle Diarys. I've got this little Coffee Enjoyable sticker book, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but I do try to link all the products I use in the description, and I do have a discount code for 12% off. This has got a variety of clear and I think some paper stickers at the back. I really like these pretty girls and I want to use them in my planner, so this is definitely going to have more of an orangey feel. I'm going to try and leave the days in for this one. I try to make at least one spread where I leave the numbers and dates where they are, because you may not wish to go to the trouble of redating. There are some little box stickers in this book on paper which I can use, and they are on the small side. I'll add this girl down the bottom. To continue with my travel story, I did manage to catch my train. I walked to the station because if you know anything about England, parking is a nightmare. There is a car park at the station, but you never know whether it's going to be full, and there's no street parking around. Plus, I don't really like leaving my car. I'm a bit of a worrier, always seem to worry about what might happen if. So I thought the 20-minute walk to the station would be good exercise anyway. I don't think I've ever had any problems on a train journey with delays before, but there's always a first time. Not sure where to put this. I think I can fit this really pretty jar here. Let's put it up here. Anyway, I'd only got a couple of stops when the announcement came over the tannoy that a train had broken down ahead of us, and the train that I was on was cancelled. And they said to get off the train. Now, luckily, there was a guy on the train who said to all the people around, it's not a good idea to get off here because this particular station doesn't have as many trains to London, and not any, I think, direct to St Pancras, which was where I was heading. So I stayed on the train with lots of other people, and eventually they did announce that it would be a good idea to stay on the train and go back to the previous stop and try and catch a train to London there. So that's what I did, and I only had about 20 minutes, I think, for my connection, which is already a bit of a push because I usually want to go to the toilet, and then you have to find your platform and where the train's going, and that usually takes you probably about 15-20 minutes. So I was already pretty sure that I wasn't going to be making my connection. And what they had told us to do was to catch a train to Victoria. And I was like, oh, I didn't bring my Oyster card with me, which is the card that allows you to travel on the tube. So I was thinking, now I'm going to have to queue up, buy an Oyster card, which will add even more time to the journey. So when I got to the stop before, I started to make my way to the platform where there was going to be a train to Victoria, but I saw a group of people asking someone for help, so I listened in, And I heard one of them say, is this train here going to St Pancras? And the answer was yes. So I thought, well, I'd rather go to St Pancras than have to go to Victoria and then have to get an Oyster card and spend time travelling across London. So I hopped on. It did occur to me that if there was a train broken down on the track to St Pancras, that surely it would affect this train as well. But I did ask someone on the train if this was going to St Pancras, and they indicated that it was. So I thought I will stay on board. That is a little bit crooked, but I'll probably adjust it a little bit later off camera. Trying to find something that's going to fit without covering up the Monday. That will. So the train set off, and they did mention that they were sorry for the delay, and it was because of a broken down train that had now been fixed or moved out of the way. But then about 5 minutes later, the tannoy went again, and the voice said, oh, ever so sorry, but the train that was fixed has now broken down again, so we will have a little bit more of a delay. It actually wasn't too bad. I think it was about 5 minutes. I definitely missed my connection at that point. And then everything was okay for a little while, and then we had another announcement that due to, I think it was something to do with signalling, that we would have to travel at a slower speed for a little while, so we'd be even later. And they gave us a little reminder that if the train was more than 15 minutes late, then you could apply for compensation. And I was thinking, well, I'm pretty sure this train is going to be more than 15 minutes late, and I've already been on one train that's been completely cancelled, so I'm sure I'm entitled to some sort of compensation. The colours of these stickers are really, really beautiful. I'm not sure whether I need to add washi or not. They do have these little bullet point like stickers in this book, but they are one big sticker, so you'd have to cut around them individually to turn them into bullet points, which wasn't too tricky. I'm not sure if that's what the purpose of those stickers was for, but that seems to make sense. It's funny, I have a ton of these really skinny washi tapes from Happy Planner, which are perfect for the Skinny Mini, but there are none in orange colours or browns. I do have this yellow, but as you can see, I'm at the end of the roll, so I think all I could probably do is maybe the top. So I will leave that for now. But that's an example of me doing a spread where I have left the days as they are, and all I need to do is add in the numbers. So on to my final spread, which is going to be a floral spread. I was inspired to make this spread by one of my old spreads. So if you're ever stuck for inspiration and you do keep your older planners, then it's worth flipping through them and finding spreads that you really like and getting inspiration from them. I'm finding I'm not using florals much, and I have so many beautiful florals in my sticker collection that I wanted to make sure I did at least one fall floral spread. I'm going to use Seasonally Neutral from Love Posh. This book is still available and you can get 10% off with Julie 10. I use these florals for my fall sticker hunt, and I have a few of them left, and they are so pretty. I thought they would work in my Skinny Mini too. It's good to use circle stickers every once in a while for a different look. So to carry on with my story, once again, I did finally arrive at St Pancras. Proceeded to ask someone where I could find the ticket office. Spoke to someone about my connection and they wrote out a little slip for me to take so that I could catch the next train to where I was going. I eventually arrived an hour later than I should have, but I was pleased to at least get there. I also had a little bit of fun and games in the hotel where I was staying, because I went to run the water when I was getting ready for bed, and it didn't seem to be getting warm, but I made do because it was quite late at night. But then the next morning when I wanted a shower, I ran the shower and the water was just cold. Now I like to have a shower every day, really just to wake me up and get me going. And I did consider skipping it on this one occasion, but I thought, well, what I'll do is I will just wash my hair and not have a full shower, because the water wasn't very warm at all. And then I spoke to the lady at reception. It was only a budget hotel, but I thought the least you can get is a warm shower. And she said that they would look into it and sort it out, and if necessary I could move rooms. So when I came back the following night, I asked the lady at reception, was everything sorted? And it was a different lady, and she said, oh, I don't know anything about that. And then she said, well, what you need to do is, because you're in a room that's right at the end, you need to run the taps and the shower at the same time and wait, and the hot water should come through. So I thought, oh, okay, as long as that's going to work and I get my shower the next day. Well, of course, the next day I tried exactly what was suggested, ran the tap and waited and waited and watched all this water running and thinking, what a waste of water when there are some people in the world who don't have clean running water. And I kept checking, and I think it was getting ever so slightly maybe warmer, but certainly not hot. But I decided I couldn't wait forever, so I had a lukewarm shower, which was better than the sort of half shower I'd had the day before. But I certainly wasn't impressed with that. At least the bed was comfortable and I got a good night's sleep, so that was something. Actually, I think I could use this one if I can peel it off. These are just stunning florals. I really love how they look. And even having made 2 spreads with them, I will still have plenty left to use. So that was all the things that went wrong on my trip. Well, I say all the things that went wrong because I still had the return journey, which I thought I was going to be okay with, because I had a 40-minute gap for my connection. So I was like, even if the train is a little bit late, I will be okay. But you are not going to believe it, when I headed out, well, actually before I headed out, as I was sat on the train, an announcement came that they were having to depart from a different track because I can't remember what the reason was, something electrical, and there would be a slight delay. So I was like, well, it was about 5 minutes, so that's fine, no worries. But of course you can guess what happened. There were further delays on the train, kept getting apologies, and again that reminder that if you are more than 15 minutes late you can apply for compensation. And I was like, I can't believe this has happened, not just on the journey out but the journey home as well. My 40-minute gap was dwindling, and as I said, I like to make sure I go to the loo in between journeys. But when I arrived at St Pancras, I think I had 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, to find out which platform I needed to go to. I'm going to see if I can squeeze that up there maybe. And it was one of those boards where the details kept changing, so I just thought I'd found the train that I was meant to be getting, and then the page changed and I wasn't sure. I started to walk away, and then I thought, no, go back and check, which is a good thing that I did because I had been looking at the wrong train and heading for the wrong platform. Now, do I need some washi on this spread? I think maybe I need to put the Sunday on the Sunday, and then maybe I can put some washi here. So I had to run with my case bobbing away behind me and the wheel keep turning over like they always do when you're in a hurry, and only just managed to get on the train just in time. And then I always like the fact that in the modern trains they have the digital display that tells you where the train's going, so I can check when I get on the train that it is the train that I wanted. But for whatever reason this one wasn't showing any information at all, and I was thinking, oh, I do hope I have got on the right train in my panic to catch it. And it wasn't actually until after we'd set off that the digital display started working and showed where the train was going, which I thought was pretty useless actually. But the good news was it was the right train, and I had made it, although no toilet stop. But at least there were no delays on this one. So fun and games. I don't travel very often, but it's enough to put you off travelling. Although I imagine it happens a lot, considering how expensive train travel is these days. You definitely don't always get the service that you pay for. And just to finish things off, once I got home, I decided I wasn't walking home because it was dark and I was tired, so I treated myself to a taxi home. And then I rang up a number and they said, oh no, we don't have any taxis at the moment, give us a ring later. I was like, oh, don't believe it, I just want to get home now. Luckily I rang another number and they were able to send someone. And of course when I got home I checked in my bedroom straight away to see if the spider was still where I'd left him, which of course was completely unrealistic that he wouldn't have moved in 3 days. And of course he was not there. So I did not feel like going to bed in a room that might have a giant spider in it, especially as he might be around my bed by now. So I decided to sleep in the spare bedroom instead. And actually I'm still there. I haven't gone back because it's a smaller room and it's nice and warm. Do I want the washi at the top? I'm not sure. This might come off. So I will at some point go spider hunting and hopefully reassure myself that the spider is well and truly gone. But of course, since I've been home, I managed to pick up a cold and I've been under the weather ever since. No energy, went through all the stages, the drippy stage, the sore throat, the temperature, and I'm only just now starting to get back to normal. It's felt like a long time. I think that was worth adding the washi. So now I'm going to show you all 4 spreads and tell you my favourite, and you can tell me yours. Here's how the pages look in my planner. I'll just pop a washi tape underneath this half. That's a little tip for if you're taking photos of your planner pages to make them even. That's a good reminder of how few days there are till the end of the year. I love this Squad Girl spread. I did add some Skinny Happy Planner washi because I felt it needed it, and used my days of the week and numbers washi tape for the dates. Next we have a nice change of colour. I'm glad I went with a different look. This Planything Fall Vibe spread. And for this one I used MojoJojoPlans Pastel Dated sticker book. Mainly because I wanted to add the dates on top of the washi and only paper stickers would show. If you are after some date stickers, because you're going to be redating in 2026, Jojo does have a release of 3 new dated sticker books on Wednesday, the 5th of November. There's a black version, rainbow version and jewel tone version, and all the stickers are in paper in, I think they're about 5 or 6 different fonts. My link will be in the description and you can save 10% with my code Julie10. I did manage to straighten up that quote by cutting off the black lines underneath, and these images are super pretty. The third spread was made with Doodle Diarys stickers. Absolutely gorgeous colours. I did and ah about whether to add any washi, and I ended up going with it, but I'm not sure if I prefer it with or without. Perhaps you could let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I used a sticker from Pastel Dated for the November. These tiny little date stickers come from Happy Planners Essential Days and Numbers. Absolutely gorgeous. Finally, this has turned out very similar to the spread I loved from last year, and shows that all you need is some stunning florals to make a really beautiful spread. I think the circles work better than rectangles, and I love how this one turned out. I'm honestly struggling to pick a favourite this month. This one is definitely up there, but I also love all the others. So let me know which one is your favourite. If you want to see how I use this planner, I do have an after the pen video for the first 6 months of the year where I flip through all my spreads, and you can find that on screen here. I do also plan to do a flip through of the last 6 months, either at the end of the year or in January. So you might want to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can find out when that video goes up. But until next time, happy planning, take care, and see you soon.